evening, gents.
Evening, Oakshire. Evening, Bridgeman.
Oh, can I say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the boys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
How are you, Bridge?
I'm excellent tonight, pal. Thank you very much. Excellent.
How are you, GFK?
I'm fine, thanks. It's good to hear your dulcet tones, especially
Yes.
Bridgeman. How you keeping, Bridge?
I'm getting a lot better, stronger.
Oh, don't. He's
longer lasting.
You GFK.
Longer lasting.
Good stuff, pal. Good stuff.
He's
What about
getting
Ox there?
all
You okay,
sorts of
Ox?
stuff. I see it in the office, mate. The
All
stuff
right.
that comes from, he's ripping the pee out of this.
All right.
The stuff he's getting sent.
Apart from that, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Unusual, mate. Last 16 a European tie just doesn't feel right. I can't get into it. Maybe wherever's sitting is not the greatest position. Even though I didn't think they deserved to beat us 3-1. I think they were maybe slightly a better team, but there was a good half an hour in that second half where we had them under the cosh. And they broke away and got the third goal because they're a good side. I just can't get excited for it. I got a message into Milan were winning. That's who we play in the next round if they get through. I just can't get up for it. But when we score the second and go 2-0 up tomorrow night, I'll be buzzing, GFK.
Aye. Me too, aye. But obviously we'll talk about the team later on, and I've got my own ideas on that. I think I've got bigger fish to fry. So, I'm the same as yourself, mate. I'll watch it, but
Bizarre, isn't it? That
that
European tie, we've not got that bit of excitement, know. But you just have to. You never know, and I'm sure we'll talk about comebacks tonight and famous comebacks in our history.
Yeah,
I suppose we were 2 goals down this season already in a European tie and comeback, Bridge.
Yeah, I'm sure that other teams have come back. Certainly Rangers have come back a number of times. I don't hold out a great deal of hope, personally speaking, other than normal hope. I hope my team does well. But if we play a wee bit better than we did against them at Ibrox, then I'm sure we could maybe score a goal there and put the frighteners on them for a while,
I can't remember, and I'm sure somebody will point out if I'm wrong here, but I can't remember us ever getting beat. The first leg at Ibrox and then winning the tie. I just can't remember. I might be wrong, GFK, but
I think the nearest we came to something like that Oxford was against PSV Eindhoven when we drew nothing each and nobody gave us an earthly. Mm-hmm. But we still had our buses booked and we went over, and as you all know, it was a 3-2 win. And I think you're right. I can't remember us ever having to pull back a 2-goal deficit like that.
Oh.
I can't remember myself.
Do you guys think that may be the reason why the press, particularly the mainstream media, hardly writing any stories about Rangers going there?
But a 20-1 shot, but just a nothing game. I'm sure that the gaffer will be thinking that he could done it without all the travelling and all the other stuff that goes with it. Obviously, if we manage to get a goal and score first, that will become a real game and we'll all get excited. But I think our manager's a realist. We need to win 3-0 to get through. And that's the odds will be stacked against us. But in sport, you never know.
Yeah. You never know. That's the truth.
Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Are we planning then? We'll hear through our manager. If I'm allowed to ask Fox if he's got a press conference, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think he's on the blob, that boy. Right, we'll have a press conference then. We'll open the lines for callers. How's that sound, Bridge?
Excellent, pal. Excellent. Go for it.
That's if you two managed to stay awake tonight.
I know.
I know JFK had a wee bit of trouble last night.
I know. Oh. He was out building an ark.
Building the ark. You were right at the start, right?
Get yourself on mute. We'll hear from your manager, Stephen Gerrard.
I'm on mute.
MBE.
Game we're looking forward to. Obviously, the situation's quite unique, having to wait so long to play the second leg. Disappointed with the outcome in terms of the results from the first leg. So we've got a bit of a mountain to climb, but we're over here to give everything we've got and give it our best shot.
Yeah, obviously yesterday the club announced 2 new strikers have joined the club. I was just wondering how does that affect Alfredo Morelos' future? Most people think that that's now going. It's a signal that he's on his way out. Is there any update on that?
Well, if it's a signal for other people, there's nothing I can do about that. But Alfredo's still a Rangers player. He's with us over here. He's focused on the game tomorrow, and he'll continue to be a Rangers player until things change. And the only way that'll change is if a bid is met that the board and myself are happy with. At the moment, that hasn't happened. So we move ahead together, and we stay professional, and we keep trying to get this football club positive results.
No concern tomorrow about him, obviously at Bayer Leverkusen in a similar position with Kai Havertz and the transfer speculation over him. There's no concerns over him playing tomorrow, the risk of an injury or anything like that.
Look, the Kai Havertz situation is for Bayer Leverkusen to focus on. That's their concern. A fantastic player. I wish them well with that. Alfredo Morelos is our player. He's the player that I need to focus on. He's fit, he's available. He wants to play, he's ready to play. So, once we pick a team, you'll see tomorrow whether we decide to play him. But I have no issues with using Alfredo tomorrow, if that's what you want to know.
I would like to ask you, normally would have taken thousands of supporters to Leverkusen, to Cologne. There would be huge parties going on right now. How does the team feel the lack of noise during a game like this? We know that at Ibrox we can really raise the roof, and that can make a difference. Do you regret that there is no noise tomorrow?
I'd certainly prefer there to be noise. I'd prefer the stadium to be full. I think as coaches and players, I think everyone prefers to be working in a full stadium. But the reality is the situation around the world dictates what's going on right now. So we just need to focus on the game and the challenge in front of us. We know our fans back home will be supporting in the numbers, and hopefully we can give them a performance to be proud of. We've prepared in pre-season with no fans, and we played at the weekend with no fans, and up to now the performances have been really strong. So hopefully we can continue to build on them performances tomorrow.
You said that fans at home. Are you aware that there are thousands, a pretty good number of Rangers supporters born and living in Germany that are going to support you?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think we all realise we're working for a fantastic club, an institution like Rangers. They have supporters all over the world. So it's no surprise that we have got thousands of fans over in Germany, and hopefully we can give them a result that they want. We know it's going to be tough. We know the deficit that we're chasing, but the plan to try and start the game on the front foot and try and score the first goal and try and make it an interesting tie.
Obviously, guys, you signed yesterday can't contribute tomorrow night, but I was just wondering how happy you are now with the depth and balance of the squad and how much you appreciate the backing you were given to get those deals done.
Yeah, extremely happy with the 2 players we got in yesterday. I think I made it well known that we were quite vulnerable with the options we had prior to getting them through the door. But now we've got a lot of options in the forward areas. We've got more firepower. I'm really excited and looking forward to working with the 2 new boys. I'm sure they'll bring a lot and add a lot to us as a team and a squad. In terms of the club, they've given us good backing. That's always been the same since day one. And, I think we're on the same page in terms of the board and myself. The main thing is to try and improve us as an 11 and as a squad, and I think we're getting names and calibre of players that we have done yesterday certainly helps us get closer towards that.
Stephen, I just wondered if you could just say a little bit about each of the 2 new signings, what they bring, what their strengths are.
Both different profiles, obviously different sizes if you like in terms of what you see on the eye. Ruth's very sharp, full of energy, likes to go and press, very selfless for the team. Got incredible quality around the box and is very capable of scoring goals in numbers. So I think certainly our fans will know more and have seen more on Ruth because of him playing down at Leeds before he's moved over to Anderlecht. In terms of Cedric's one who comes with huge potential, a little bit younger. but real strong numbers in terms of goals to games in his career so far. 6 foot 2.5, so comes with power, strong runner. So they give us different options. The good thing is they can play together in terms of how we play, and they fit into our system. But yeah, I'm really excited to work with them both. They're both hungry. They're both looking forward to coming and starting. They both understand where the club's at and what we're trying to achieve. So the real big positive news for Rangers, and I'm delighted to get them done.
All right. He's back. It's not much about the match, was it?
No. No, not at all.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Was that just me? Was there anything about the match now?
There was nothing. I watched it. He never spoke anything about the match.
Well, a wee bit about Morelos.
Aye.
Obviously, their guy's meant to be going to Chelsea. I don't know what's happening with that.
Aye.
Something about the fans, and it's great. I wish Jamie. I hope Jamie Harrar was listening to that to find out there's thousands of Rangers supporters in Germany. That'll be more than Bournemouth or go to Bournemouth.
Can I ask you, Oxford, are the Germans letting fans in tomorrow?
I don't believe so, mate.
Are they one of the countries that's doing so many in?
No, I don't think they're in.
Okay.
By the way, you couldn't tell anybody's right or wrong, you know what I mean? Because it's changing constantly, isn't it?
Yep.
You know, Bridgeman, there wasn't a lot about the match.
What do they call it? Square root of nothing. No, very little to. We know how well a man speaks, and we know it sounds like we know what he wants, and he's got what he wants. And the chap that was the German chap that was interviewing him initially, I thought it did very well. I thought it was quite a good interview, but our expectation is, are we going to talk about the game? Tell us what's happening and so forth? Nothing. Not a sausage. So there we go.
So people want to join us and talk about the interview. The number is JFK.
It's 0141 356 1972.
Or join us via Bridge.
You can join us on Skype at rangersradio.online, and Old School Blue will bring you in, look after you, give you a cup of tea, enjoy yourself.
All right. He didn't cups of tea, is he?
Oh, he does. He's good to that. He's good that way.
Good boy, isn't he?
Definitely.
Good boy. Right, so how do you see us lining up tomorrow night, JFK? I know you mentioned it briefly, but I thought we made a bit better talk.
Wait to see the lobby explode in a minute.
Right.
Maybe a couple of these players aren't there so you can correct me on it, right? So obviously McGregor.
John Gregg's shielding, mate. He's no playing, right?
Obviously Alan McGregor in goal because John McLaughlin's can't play, right? So my back four.
How can John McLaughlin not play?
He can. He's no in the thing to go.
European squad, is it still the squad for last year?
As far as I saw the European squad the other day, and I'm sure it only said McGregor, Firth.
All right, okay.
Right, I might be wrong, that's what I'm saying, but I would say anyway, McGregor, Patterson, Edmondson, Hollander, Barisic, Aribo, Docherty and Jack, Jones, Arfield and Kent. Alfredo.
So you're putting up the white flag yet?
I'm not putting up the white flag. I think we've got a good pool of players, but I think we've got more fish to fry, bigger fish to fry, and I'm not saying it's a nothing game, but I think even that
£500,000 at stake if you can win the match.
Right, okay, I know that, but I'm thinking longer term, mate. I never really look at the lobby to see if they think I'm on drugs or something.
No, I get your rationale. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I get your rationale. Bridgeman.
I would, to be honest, I would try to keep us close to the team that we had at the weekend.
I don't know if the big Kings of Leon can play, can he?
No, he'll probably not be able to play, but
no.
I would slot in Edmondson or one of the others, Helander, who's got European experience. I wouldn't have a problem there. I think the rest of the team played quite well. and I would keep it as close to that as close to that as possible, and then add into the substitutions for there. Is it? Are we up to 5? Have we got 5 at the European level? Or is it back down to 3? Do you know?
No, I think it's normal rules.
Normal rules, the same rules of the competition.
Okay, that's cool.
I would go with the same team. Bring Edmondson. I'll give you Bridge. I'll play Helander if he's fit enough. But Edmondson if the manager does the thing. And I would bring Arfield in for Hadji in the European game when he gets a bit of space. See how it goes, and then have Hadji ready to come on maybe the last half an hour. And he can help us in midfield keep it tight. I would like to, if we can, win the match. I know we'll not be favourites, but I would like to see how it goes, JFK, because I think it's important that we don't get rolled over.
No,
I'm gone.
I can understand that. Right? If it was 2-1, I'd be I'd be a totally different team. I know Jonesy's travelled earlier, right? He's there. I know what he's taking them there for, I don't know. And I know he's told them to find another club. So that tells me there's maybe a possibility he might use them. And I know you might think I'm putting the white flag up, but I'm thinking Patterson, Edmondson, Helander and Barisic is a decent back four. Right? I know you're, and people will be laughing, but Docherty, JFK doesn't rate Docherty, but he's there to be used. Use him. Kamara's suspended.
Right, I know you're ill, but you're going to get a final written for your Titan.
Who's that?
Bridge.
He's talking.
I thought that was his teeth clattering there.
Maybe his teeth clattering, or he's moving something. He's doing something.
So I know there's a few people making funny sounds about me there, and I can take that because I'm thick-skinned and I'm on the drugs thing. I know for the first time. But it's just my rationale is that I don't think we'll get scalped. But I'm thinking, and I know people can say we're only playing St Mirren on Sunday, but for me the league's more important. If it's 2-1 to them, then I'd put out my strongest team. But come on, let's be realistic.
All right, we'll be joined by Big Stevie from the Drum. Evening, big man.
Good evening, lads. How are you?
Hi, Stevie.
Bridgeman, how are you keeping?
I'm keeping well, thank you very much. Getting better every day, buddy. Every day's getting better.
I'm pleased to hear it, Bridge. I'm pleased to hear it. Listen, guys, I don't want to take you away from the football, but I'm phoning to see what the panel think about one of our partnerships we joined today, Go Radio. I mean, it's a concern to me. Go Radio is run by Paul Cooney, Willie Hawkey, James Murphy. That's who's the guys that own that radio station. What the hell would Glasgow Rangers be doing having a partnership with these kind of guys? Can any of you elaborate on it for us?
You see who their anchor man is, Stevie? Barry Ferguson.
Well, he's one of the guys that's involved in it. And I'm going to bring in Fox. I know Fox has been following this story closely. Evening, Fox.
Evening, lads.
Did you hear the big man there?
Aye, Stevie, I'm in agreement with you 100%. Whatever happened to, we'll just go with the fan media. I was selling out our souls for a couple of £1,000 to a Tim-ran radio station when we've got loads of fan-led media, including ourselves in that. I think it's shocking. I think it's about time the club had a real serious look at some of the deals they're doing for a couple of quid.
Well, listen, any one of them, they're all one eyebrow brigade, any one of them could be a Glasgow councillor. Well, that's the bottom line. They're all hungry with tarted with a one brush. And me personally, when I looked at it today and then I had a wee read into it there, I'm concerned, guys. I don't want to be. We're doing everything great and it's all positive and everything else. But that really concerns me. Go Radio. What are we getting after that? What are we getting out of that, guys? Come on.
My honest opinion, big man.
Yes, on you go.
Yeah. I read it today and I read the story and I thought, oh, right, okay, we've got a tie-up with a local radio station. We'll give them interviews and we'll obviously take on the other local radio station within the city and maybe have something that sort of tea time for people driving home, if you like, with Rangers will be seen in a positive light. And then when I seen who owned the station, mate, What have they got? They're not going to be interested in benefiting us. Now, they might use us to promote their business, but they're not going to be interested in benefiting us. Stevie?
Listen, I just think they're using the brand Glasgow Rangers to get their radio station up and running. And listen, these guys don't change their spots. These guys are total terriers to the highest degree.
Can I come in there, Stevie? I've just noticed, sorry mate, I've just saw who the main host is. It's that ratbag Cy Ferry.
We know, mate.
I've not been reading it. I've not been on it today. I'm only just, it's Big Steve. I'm only hearing bits and pieces. That's disgusting.
So what do you think then, guys? What do you think people should do about it?
Well, for a start,
go on, Stevie.
You'll not be able to hear them clear enough for their balaclavas. So, the bottom line for me is, I would rather lose the couple of quid that they're offering us. They're only using our brand to get their radio station and get listeners. That's because they know who the big support is here, And I just can't get my head around it. Paul,
does this get in? Does the what do you call him? Rangers? What do you call him? Marshall, Greg Marshall. Does he? Sorry. No, I'm not saying the end to do with him. Could we write to him and ask him to
the support could all means look. Obviously, we do a radio show. It's totally different from what they're looking to do. So let's not say that we've got any. We've not got a dog in that fight. We're a fans-led radio show that if the club wanted to give us information, we'd certainly put it out there for people to hear. But it's that's a different. They're trying to a different ball game for what we're doing. So we're not interested in them. But when we saw the talent of the club and we saw who's involved in it, wow, was it a shock, Stevie?
But Oxford, can I just say, Oxford, I don't want to be seen. I don't want Rangers Radio to be seen to be anti-Rangers.
No, not
and come across as anti. I'm just saying, and come across as anti-Rangers. But I would like to know what the actual hookup is. Is this officially Rangers sanctioning this radio or being in cahoots with this radio?
It's a media partnership.
So I would imagine that they'll do the after-match interviews for radio, put them out in the Glasgow area.
Right, I'm not interested in any of that. That's cool. Thanks very much. I'm not interested in any of that crap.
But
that's upset me.
I'm a bit disturbed of who's involved, Stevie.
Oh, 100%. You only need to delve into their backgrounds. I mean, do we really need to even get into their backgrounds? We all know what they are. The one eyebrow brigade, well, Jesus, Sandals, you wrote a script here with this mob. And they're all got one thing in common. The bottom line here is, for me, as a shareholder in Rangers Radio, we'll not be getting anywhere near it, and that's for sure. So, I just think, me personally, Rangers have done the right thing, because I would give these three guys another look. The three there that I've just named, and there's actually a couple more on it, names it, but honestly, if you were to get them in the back of your tap, you'd be 300 quid. It's one of these, Sister Alfonso, you name it, right out the whole lot of it. Listen, I'm disgusted that Rangers have even anything to do with these guys. Paul Cooney, Willie Hockey, Lord Willie Hockey. I just think that the bottom line guys here, for money, no chance. We've got to stand and have some principles. And I'm sorry for taking you away by the football, but that's a worrying partnership for me, because in the long run, when these guys get up and running and they get a bit of power, a bit of strength, they'll only be interested in one club. Trust me.
Fox?
Well, I can't disagree with Stevie. I must say it's really disheartened me that Rangers would go into a partnership with these people. For a number of years, it's the fans that's kept Rangers going, and I think they should have consulted the fans, mate. I'm sure there's quite a lot of people will listen, but you know the way it's going to go. And if we're profiting MD that has connections with across the city, I'm not for it at all. And I never run the board down or anything, but this time I'm totally against what they've done.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with most of your words, Fox, but I don't think they should run a business decision by the fans. But what they should have done is have a sounding board and went, right, this isn't a good fit for us. Thanks, but no thanks.
A good fit. These guys would rather see us away. These guys would have rather see their club die. You know what I mean? When we were over ones and listen, to me, pardon the pun, but it's a bridge too far.
Oh, we'll end it on that note. Right, big man, how do you see tomorrow night going?
It's as plain and simple as this. If we get the first goal, it's interesting. It's as plain and simple as that. Football showed that against Braga that it can be done. And by the way, a couple of wee things. A couple of their main players are they playing, and they've not had a couple of competitive games now for maybe a month. And I think that might all go. If we get the first goal, it's interesting. But I think if these guys score at all, that's it done. I really do. I know the first goal for them doesn't that, but I think if they score at all, it's done up. I really do. But who knows? Who knows? We're playing well. We've already got the money in the bank. It's really it's a shot in the dark, it's the bottom line is, as long as we go and give ourselves a good account of ourselves, and the money's done, the money's in the bank for this year. But how great would it be if we did beat them, man? Oh, Timmy explosion, the Clyde would be full. So anyway, but listen, boys, I just thought
you get it, the report live and Go Radio.
Aye, coming live for the Knights of St. Columbus. Aye, probably. Well, listen, boys, listen. We are a people, we are Rangers, and we never put our flag up. That's how, see what Fox said there about the support, what the support's done. I know what you're saying, Teox, that the fact that Rangers can't turn to the support national, but you've got other ones there. I mean, you've got the, what do you call the boys that always deal with everything? They're brilliant. They kind of challenge everything again. What do you call them? The four lads, is it?
Aye. They can speak. There must be people that get a sounding board,
Look, you get the Douglas partner. Did he really need to ask them? Look at do what? They bother. But look, keep it in the football. It was just a wee one that concerns me because everything commuter club is positive. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I know it's another sponsorship and it's cash, but that's cash I wouldn't want. That's cash. It's on a wee bit of principle.
Everything's been going A+. The business, there's been a few wee blips in the road, of course. This one's must try harder, but still an A.
Big mistake for me. Big mistake.
Three things that are happening now. The three things that's happening now with Glasgow Rangers are simply the off the park. It's brilliant, but the boy Busgrove has got everything gone. On the park, we're doing brilliant. We're signing a few bells, and the third thing for me, it's brilliant for the Glasgow Rangers, is Bridge is making a comeback. There you go.
To be fair, he's actually, the reason he's so angry is because he put his CV in to go to.
I'm glad it's Sky is looking for Bridge at No Go Radio. Just let me tell you. But listen, lads, I'm an early bedder, as you know. I'm up in the morning. I just wanted to, that was a wee concern of mine. The Mora, as I said, the football, we get the first goal. It's interesting, isn't it? We take it by there, but the cash is in the bank, guys. No, that's the bottom line. We've done well in Europe
you'll
this year.
You'll no sleep in it, I can tell.
Aye. No, Jimmy better no sleep because it's Orange Lily time.
Aye, I've got the dogs out, mate. The dogs are watching.
He's got lights and all sorts on them now.
Aye.
You bring a light there 400 yards away and his lights go on.
Aye.
Big man, you remember take a pop in before the weekend, will you?
I will do, Jimmy. Right, love yous and leave yous. Go on yourselves at Rangers Radio, and we are the Glasgow Rangers. Let's do it tomorrow. And by the way, we should be sending Old Bear to Go Radio. He'll sort them out. Okay. Get on, Bert. Send him out to Go Radio. He's a man. Get him onto that. That'd be brilliant.
Stevie, keep it going for the Rangers.
Yes. All right. And use Lee Stardug alone. My wee pal for Ayrshire. Use Lee with my lane, young Stardug. Okay. I'll talk to you later on. Good night,
Cheers,
lads.
Stevie.
Right, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oh, well, wasn't a subject I was wanting to particularly go down, but I felt, well, glad he brought it up. But I think enough said. I think a lot of the support will find it a strange move, Fox.
I do indeed. But as you say, it's probably been James Bygrove that has done the deal, mate. He seems to do all the financial deals, and maybe a wee bit of lack of knowledge about the rest of the Rangers support. Unless it's just us on here that thinks that way. If you've got a different view, phone in and let us know.
Call, aye.
Maybe Franny's got something to say.
No,
Franny.
Aye, Franny's a shareholder.
That's not the only thing he is, though, is it?
Dear.
Am I the only one that's really looking forward to this game tomorrow night?
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm buzzing for it, but I'm indeed.
You don't
I want
you
to
were
see my
looking
team.
forward to Breton City at home, mate, with the rest of us were dying. Something Fox, I just find it strange that I can't get myself up for the last 16 a European tie, if that makes any sense.
Oh, I think there's a lot of people think we don't have a chance. In football, you're always in with a chance. I just think that they've got a few players out. The boy Demibre and Weisner are both suspended. The boy Amiri, who also played at Ibrox, is out with a COVID quarantine thing. And Paulino, the Brazilian, is also out with a ruptured hamstring or cruciate ligament damage. So they're kind of struggling for players. And anyway, I'll let you get back to the caller.
All right. Evening, caller. How are we doing?
Hi, Yorkshire. It's Saw here.
Saw?
I phoned up a couple of times before, Ox.
All right, mate. How are we spelling that, with a Z or an S?
No, it's an S. It's the username on the lobby. My real name's Ross.
All right, okay.
So all right. How's things? All right.
How are things with you, pal?
Good, Bridgeman. Good.
Thank you.
Exciting times these days.
Oh, I believe it.
What's on your mind, Saw?
Just talk about the couple of transfers we've had. Very excited about Ruth. It seems as though he's got a good pedigree. Pleased with that one. Don't know him too much about the boy for Switzerland.
Big Ricky Eton.
Aye. Seems as though he's got a good goal scoring record for last season, but I've not seen him play before, so I can't really judge.
I mean, you can't judge anybody with video. I've seen some of Fox's video and he performs really well on them. But it's not true, you know.
But no, very pleased with him.
Aye, good signings. JFK, only time will tell, but so far so good.
I agree with Saw saying there, but if anybody's interested, go and see the last 3 goals that Big Eton scored. His last,
Big Ricky.
Aye, Big Ricky. He scored a hat-trick against Neuchâtel Xamax. The second last game of the season.
Them?
Aye, we played them, mate. Aye.
No, did they play them and get beat?
Aye. Well, the big man scored a cracking hat-trick, and it's out there. Go and see it. His very last game for Xamax, and I'm happy with him. Didn't know anything about him until we signed him, but I went and I looked and I found some of his goals, especially the hat-trick, a couple of weeks ago, and then he asked to stay out the team because he'd already agreed to sign for Rangers because we're due to play young boys. Young boys are the champions as far as I know. So I'm happy, and obviously we know all about Kemar Roofe. Many as I've seen him on the TV up here, so I'm very pleased. So with my vote so far, I want E2 to be with Alfredo. The boy Kemar Roofe isn't an out-and-out striker. He plays more on the right. So we'll see what the gaffer does with him once he does get a game. I think out of the two of them, there's a good chance that Itten will play on Sunday against St Mirren.
All right. I think obviously they'll be in the bench. In fact, me and you've got a chance of being on the bench. There's that many subs.
Aye, definitely.
Bridgeman.
Jake, the wee man will stay. Morelos.
That's a real tough question. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. And that's the way it's going with a minute. I think there's a 60-40 chance he'll stay, mate.
If he does stay, there's a wee chance of maybe changing to that 4-2-3-1 maybe.
Oh, I'll pass you to our formation expert, Mr. Bridge.
Ibrox, I don't see that happening, pal. I don't see that happening. I've got a favourite, a dream. The Rangers play a 3-5-2 at Ibrox, and every game. I'd love that to happen. Once we get the players, if we get the players. But right at this moment, it's going to be 4-3-3. I'm quite sure of it. And as far as the game against St Mirren, I think both the new players that have come in will get a game at some point. They'll both get a game because of the Ibrox. And we'll see what they're like, see whether they're tasty as we think they are, and we'll see what happens. And of course, we should come away with 3 points, no problem, because it's the Ibrox.
So, Rich, what's your opinion now? The boys, obviously, their signings were brought in. I think I've read between 6 and 9 million, depending on pressure. What number you're seeing? I'm waiting for it to be announced on Go Radio how much was spent. What's your opinion on the boys we've brought in? Kemar Roofe, I see him locally down here. He went to Leeds, done okay. The Leeds fans liked him because he really worked hard and scored the odd goal. I moved to Anderlecht when he fell out of favour. £7 million or 5 million again, depending on press. You read, and we've got him on less than a year later, so it's going to be improvement in Nicky Clark, isn't it?
100%, aye, 100%. I think it'll just be interesting to see where Stevie puts him in. If he's going to put him through the middle, or if he's, as JFK said, if he's going to put him on the right hand side. I mean, it's only good for us that we've got a wee bit of flexibility there now. But as you said, he's a hard worker. Press the ball, he can score goals, so that's half the battle, isn't it?
Aye, and I think our 3 front players go to Fox with us. Our front players, once they get the rhythm, they'll have to do a lot of pressing.
Well, ever since we've played the 4-3-3, I've been saying that we need somebody on the right-hand side that can score goals, and I think that's where Kemar Roofe will play. My dream would be Alfie to stay in a 4-2-3-1 with the 3 up front being Kent, Morelos and Roofe, with the big boy Itten up front. That would be mine, and Hadji on the bench, mate.
All right, okay. Hadji seems to, I mean, I'm seeing the jury's still out, but I'm sensing a wee bit of, no negativity, but I think I'm not the only one that thinks the jury's still out in Hadji, so.
Well, I think he could just do with a bit of bulking up. He's very easily pushed off the ball at the present time. He's definitely got the technique, and he's got the skill. But I think he just needs to put on a wee bit of muscle. And I don't think maybe this season only, maybe playing a bit part, mate. That's my thoughts on it. As if Alfie stays, you know.
I think when Hadji plays well, he's going to score spectacular, good goals and do outrageous bits of skill.
Oh, without a doubt, aye.
But it's when he doesn't play well, he becomes a passenger. Saw any thoughts?
I think on Hadji.
Aye.
No, I like him. Maybe just that wee yard of pace, just he's no good at. But apart from that, I do like him. As you said, he's got the technique, the touch. No, I think he's a good signing for us. But I think he's going to play. He's going to play in that 10 role for me.
So you're Roof on the right, Morelos if he slides through the middle. Where does Kent on the left?
Yeah.
And then Itton's on the bench with Morelos. We had you behind Morelos. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. That's right. And I would play Jack and Aribo on the 2.
Right, okay. I can see that Ibrox against teams like St Mirren. I think people have been crying out for a more positive formation for GFK.
I agree with Shore. I'd like to see Hadji playing that number 10 role because I think that's where he'd be better playing. Way Roof on the right and obviously Ryan Kent on that left. Whether it's going to be Alfredo or Itten in the middle, we don't know, but hopefully it's Alfredo. I think yourself, he needs a bit bulking up for me, and I'm like yourself as well, Oxia. The jury's still out with me for him. Although I rate him as a player, I think he's a cracking player. But when it comes to the Wednesday nights at the Hamilton Accies and the Ross Counties and that's where you're looking for him to perform, knowing just a full hoosies when that eventually comes. But I rate him very much as a player. But I agree with Sawyer. I'd like to see him play behind Alfredo in that number 10 role, mate. Definitely.
I just
just a quick wee point.
On you go, sir.
Just a quick wee point. I like the new centre half. He was good on Saturday. Sorry. He was very good. Comfortable.
Bridgeman, you can take that, mate.
The new centre half, absolutely brilliant. I thought he had a smashing game. Looks a very elegant player. Obviously, in 3 or 4 games' time, when we see him at his best, with full pump, it might be slightly different. It may even be higher. But I think he's going to be a smashing player for us. He's nice, got a nice bit, nice height, nice build, and he really cruises. When he got the ball at his feet and he runs, very cruises through it. I thought he had a smashing game. And by the way, a big welcome to Ibrox for him against St Mirren, that's for sure.
Kings of Leon. I enjoyed watching them. What pleased me was
I need to go.
All right, Ross. Okay. So thanks for the call, mate. Yeah.
Right, buddy. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
GFK, I just need to mention something. I think you're allowed to say Ross County, but I'm not sure if you're allowed to say Hamilton Accies anymore.
All right, okay. Is that a warning there, aye?
Oh, just a bad joke.
I know.
But, I mean, he's right. I mean, Fox, all these forward players we've got, and if Alfie Styles, obviously, they're not going to play every week, but they're not going to be playing every week with suspensions and loss of form and injury as well. So we've got covered now. Obviously, they're not going to play every week. Well, Denver, turn the show off.
I agree with you, but I'd like to see Rangers playing their strongest 11 as much as they can this season. I think we've got some classy players now. I think we look kind of solid at the back. I'm quite happy with Jack and Aribo in the middle, as somebody mentioned earlier on. And we've got a good wee sprinkling of talent up front. And let Steven Gerrard get his best side and play it as often as possible for me.
See that number 10 role,
We've been
Fox?
sorry. We've been joined with Denver. Hopefully he's turned the show off. I'm off a mute, Denver. How we going? How we doing, buddy? He's doing a bridge talking to himself. Come off a mute, Denver. Press that button.
We'll just leave him till he finds his way
when
in.
You go GFK, you'll work out.
I was just about to say to Fox here, would you be in the same frame of mind, Fox, of playing Hadji in that bit, behind Alfredo or whoever it is up front? Would you like to see him out in the wing?
No, I think Hadji's role is as an attacking midfield player behind the strikers, mate. But at this present time, if Alfie stays, I would have Alfie in that role. I think Alfie's hold up play and his ability to pass and spread the ball about, plus he'll be late into the box, and I think when he gets a bit of freedom, he'll score even more goals.
So your middle would be Aribo, Aribo, Alfredo, and Jack.
No, before 2-3-1, mate. This
would
be
you go with
Jack,
4-3-2-1?
Jack and Aribo in the middle,
right?
And as I say, Roof, Morelos, and Kent, and the boy Itten up front is the target man, the real target man.
So it's a bit expansive. I can never see him playing that way right enough. But
well, Morelos did play that kind of role in the last 2 games we've seen him in, where he's dropped deep and to collect the ball and spread it about. But he was always in the box when it eventually got there, and I think he would excel in that role.
I still think he'll persist with a 4-3-3, though. It's my opinion.
But it's just the same anyway, Jimmy.
You know, Denver there now, I think, even in Denver.
Nope, he's gone again, Ox.
Oh dear. Carry on, boys.
I still think that, I know what you're saying, I still think that he'll persevere with what he's already doing. You know, I don't think he'll change it much. He seems to be a bit stubborn that way. But time will tell. When we're only obviously in the first game of the season, folks. But I'd like to see him change it game to game or in the game time as well to change the team.
What would be interesting to see how rigid we are, because let's say it was an observation, maybe a criticism, that we lined up the same against teams that we should be beating easily at Ibrox, and they set up to stop us because they knew what we were going to do. So if we were to go, we say 2 through the middle, which I can't see personally, but I'm just throwing it out there as an option. It would give the other teams, they've got to change their shape. Whereas the way we play, if they stick rigid to whatever they're doing to stop us, it's cat and mouse and not a great watch. And it's because sometimes we're not as offensive as we should be. In my opinion, of course. Frenchman?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. At all. We've not complained per se, but we've all noted that when we look great when we're going forward, and then all of a sudden something happens and we stop, and for whatever reason they don't seem able to get it back up again, and that's just what we're like, isn't it? Got to be. If he gets us a couple of warriors, as he's talking about, then it could change the whole game for every game. Got people in there that can go in there, win the tackles, win the ball, give it to somebody who can play football, and let's go in and do it. That's what we did before. So we need to go and do that. We need to win the games, and we need to win every game, one at a time. Not 3 weeks' time, one at a time, one game at a time. Even if it's 1-0, win it. Get the 3 points. That's what matters.
That to say to you on your 3-5-2 dream formation, mate. Who would drop out then? Would you lose your 2 fullbacks, or would you lose your 2 Kent and Roof, mate?
We would certainly lose out mostly in the midfield as far as that's concerned. But for me, you would have your 3 centre halves and the 2 fullbacks out wide, and the rest of them can fight for a position. That's the way I'd see it. It's only me. Remember, it's only me I'm speaking to. So 3-5-2, you've got 3 midfielders, internal midfielders. One of them would be a slightly defensive, and the other 2 would be attacking along with so basically you have 4 attackers in there, and then your 2 up front. I think we could do it, but I don't know. I haven't seen the team yet, so we may not have enough 3-5-2 type personnel to be able to do it. You've got to have good quality at the back. You've seen it in the Premier League in England, and somehow some of these teams play that, and they're absolutely brilliant at it. The way their tactics are right and they're set up, but they need people that can pick that ball up from somewhere like 30 yards from their goal and run like a deer right through and keep going, because that's what you need. Somebody to take the ball, carry the ball, and distribute the ball. That's what you need to do. You can't keep pumping it back in again. You just exhaust people.
There's a downside to that formation, Fox.
Aye, for me there is. I think we lose a lot of wing play in that 3-5-2. I think we'll have a centre half sitting there doing nothing, and I don't fancy it at all. I think that Steven Gerrard, both players.
You know how he likes it?
How?
I'll put it there. It was on the way he get a game, because when there was two centre halves playing, he never get a game.
Ah, right.
I love to watch the English Premier League. I've told you this for years, and I watch some of the centre halves they've got in there. They're not the best centre halves in the whole world, but my goodness gracious, they can play 3-5-2. It's brilliant to watch.
City just signed a centre half in Bournemouth, 40 million.
I like that boy Aki. I think I've been watching him for a couple of years, mate.
Is that the boy who came from Chelsea?
I don't know where he came from. I've just noticed him since he went for playing for Bournemouth, mate. He's always good out in games, aye.
Yeah, good player, pal. Definitely. And I'm the same as Fox. I just don't. I mean, I think a 3-5-2 is going to work for us, and I don't think he'll ever play a 3-5-2. For me, he's always going to go with a 4-3-3 all the time. That's the way Stevie G's always played it.
Do you not think that that's how he's recruited for the 4-3-3 or come 4-2-3-1, Jimmy? He's recruited the positions now, you know.
Looking at the way we've recruited Fox, I totally 100% agree with you, mate. Yep, I can agree with you. But I just think he's got that way that 4-3-3 will be his main way of playing. But my argument's always been is that I'd like to see him change it more during the game time. And that's my big bugbear about him, you know. As Oxford said, you know, the teams that are coming to Ibrox all the time, you're there as well as we see it. They come and they put the shutters up, and it's rubbish at times to watch. Having to watch your team, having to try and break a team down for 90 minutes. So maybe that, the 4-2-3-1 will break it up. So time will only tell, mate. Time will tell.
But you know, my 3-5-2. The players are not there yet. You're still probably 2 years away from someone like Gerrard developing and bringing in the players that would give them and allow them to play 3-5-2. Some of the players we've got are very.
Then, out of curiosity, what do you think is the difference between somebody who can play 3-5-2, 4-4-2,
well,
4-3-3? Do you think you need to be a different player? Or
yeah, well, there's a certain style of play, isn't it? You got to have somebody in their defence with a lot of pace. A lot of pace, right? And we don't have anybody with a lot of pace. So there's number one. Number two, you've got to be absolutely fearless in attacking the ball. When the ball's coming towards you, you've got to win that ball. I just love it. I just love watching that. I love watching people.
You don't say that about any formation, Bob.
No. Yeah, you can do. But if you're playing three at the back, then that three at the back is it. There's the full-backs aren't going to fall back. The ball's getting booted up right into your face. You've got to attack the ball and win the ball. And that's the way I look at it, and I think it's brilliant to see what it's worked.
But the ball, if it comes down the centre of the park, will become down the same area where the two centre halves have got to go and win it.
Yeah, so you can see what happens now in some instances. The two centre halves have got four at the back, but you end up with the two centre halves stuck in the middle, shall we say, and they get lost. They don't know what to do. The ball's going a different way, and then a big centre forward comes in and wins the ball and gets a header on it, and that just totally knackers the way their position is, and you end up with these people running through on your goalkeeper. This is just elementary stuff. I just don't think we've got the type of players that can play and do play 3-5-2 with any shall we say, any quality. I just don't see it.
I think the guys can play any formation they wanted. I think they're all decent pros, and if you decided to work in anything on the training ground, you get it, mate. Fox.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we've got players that can play in one or two positions anywhere in the park. Some of them three positions, especially the forwards at the moment, who can both play across the park. Three of them can all switch roles across the park. For midfield, we've got a decent selection in midfield who can all do different jobs as well. And of course, your back four are your back four. We've got two attacking full backs there. Doogie is a an alternative way of playing with striding forward on the attack all the time. I must be the only one that likes the two sitting defensive midfielders. I think Aribo can do that job with Jack. I think Aribo's got the heart and the pace to get up and down the park when needed. And they cover the full-backs who supply a lot of ammunition into our forward players. I think we've got a very good rounded squad now, Ox.
Aribo's legs on Saturday, when he went to the left in the front three, mate, he still kept showing me, and obviously get that one kicked off the line. But it's all about opinions, Bridge. If you don't think we'll get the personnel, I just think pros, if you put them on the training pitch and they started training with formation, they'll pick it up very quickly. I mean, I get what you're saying. Ideally, you'd want Alan Wells playing at sweeper, but you don't always get it.
I think I agree with what Fox is. I think we've got a very versatile squad now. You know, middle and front. Now that we brought the two boys at in the last couple of days now, and hopefully with Alfredo Stiles. And I think up front we're very versatile there, especially with the way they can move left and right. They can play anywhere. You're probably talking about 7 players in there now in the middle. In the front for Alfredo Stiles. So it'll be interesting to see how he does play the first game at Ibrox, which is going to be Sunday. You know, and if we know it's St Mirren's, like they're a bunch of hammer throwers, and they'll probably just shut up shop as well. So it's up to us to break it down. But it will be good to see what way he hangs it. Good to see if at least one of the new starts get a game. That would be good. I
think they'll be stripped, mate. I think they'll both be stripped. Obviously,
I think they'll be on the bench.
It depends. We come out Thursday.
I think you're a good chance of seeing Itten playing Sunday.
I think they'll be stripped, mate. But I don't think they'll start, mate, because the time the team come back, they're not going to do a lot in the training ground.
No, I wouldn't be disappointed, but I'm just interested to see. You know, things might go quick for Alfredo. It's either stay or I think it's come a time now that Alfredo should be coming out and saying he either wants to stay or go.
He's not going to say that, mate.
Well, if he doesn't want to stay, then go. It's simple as that. You know, I mean, I don't want to keep a player who's looking to go elsewhere, and we wish him all the best if he did go. But what I'd rather he stayed as a Blue Nose, obviously.
The Windies just started, mate. You may have to put up with us for an R2-1.
Nah, well, for me, I'd rather have a player in that wants to be part of the pool than a player who's maybe thinking of going and maybe thinking of no going. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, don't wish him any ill will.
Get yourself mute. Because we're going to have a tune. Take it away, old school.
Now we've hit the boats in Africa, the Chinks of Kermanshoo, the Spaniards at Trafalgar and the French at Waterloo. We chased King James and all his gang in the battle of the Boyne, that's why the Glasgow jails were torn. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. The jails go marching on. Now we've seen the Glasgow Celtic and Brazil and Argentina. We've seen the Leeds United and the Sure mighty team. We've seen the best in Russia from the Volga to the north, but the jails go marching on. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. The jails go marching on. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, glory, Glasgow Rangers. Glory, when we face the world and say, bring it on some more, 'cause you know for sure that we don't do walk away. We don't do walk away.
We are Rangers through and through. Brilliant, boys, brilliant.
A wee bonus number there.
It was indeed, yes. Well done, Oxfield Blue, well done.
Right, yeah. We've been joined by Star Doug. How we done?
Evening, Jimmy, Bridgeman, Oxshire, Fox.
Hi,
How you doing, guys?
Evening, boy.
How you doing? Just listening to what you were saying about the team there. We've plenty of options definitely going forward now, Oxshire. It's just getting everybody to nail their perfect positions.
Getting the blend, mate.
Aye, 100%, you know, and it's good to have options, mate. You don't want 5 or 6 players that are the same up there. Then you become predictable, mate. Do you know what I mean? So it's good we can mix it up. I was actually listening to Fox, a man of wise words, so as I tell you that about Alfredo Morelos in the number 10 role, I think he'd be brilliant in that role, mate, if we can keep him and get the boy Itten up there and Ruffy in the right. I think that'd be a great setup, and I'd be off for that. As long as Joe Aribo stays in the team this year, Oxshire, I'm not too bothered, because I think he's the man. He's the man that's going to drive his own this year for midfield. And David Bridgeman was saying, commit defenders and bring them out and draw them out and make things happen between the lines, mate. I think that's going to be Joe Aribo this year.
I'm going to whisper something to you, mate. I don't want anybody to hear this, but I'll tell you what, that Aribo's better than Ojo, isn't he?
Oh, I tell you what, different school compared to him. Who did you say again? What was that other guy's name you said?
Ojo.
Who?
Aye. We did tell you right away, didn't we, Fox?
You did, mate, you did. But I'll tell you what, I held my hands up, mate. I held my hands up to it. I got it wrong. I get led down the trap of the YouTube highlights. But at least we've seen what Joe Aribo can do this season, and Fox predicted it last season that everything Joe Aribo's going to do will become 10 times better this season, and I really do believe that.
Aye, boy's got talent, mate. He's got quick feet. He's about 6'2". He's fast. He's
everything.
Relatively brave, mate. He can score.
Thanks very much.
I should start to go right into another secret. He says 99 things. He's bound to get something right once.
Well, that's true, mate. That's very, very true. But aye, I'm just delighted, mate. I'm delighted with the way the squad's shaping up to look. I think we've got a lot of different dimensions to this year, Oxshire. I'm no for the 3-5-2, mate. I'm not saying we've not got the players to do it, because I believe we do, but I don't believe it would fit our squad in there. You would have to take the wingers out. You'd have to lose Kent and Hadji or Kent and Roof.
You can play with 5 defenders. It can work away from say in Europe, and then if you've a sitting fielder, your forwards can end up getting isolated.
Aye.
If you're under a caution, but that's the problem I've got with it. I think it's a good formation and something you can change to. You get another man up front, and again,
well, you could go 4-2-2-2 as well.
4-2-2-2. I wouldn't like to do the running in that formation.
You'd have your 2 centre mids, your 2 wingers, and the 2 boys up top. You could do that, mate, but I don't think that's what he'll do. I think he'll stick with the 4-3-3 and what looks. Aye, well, depends, mate. Depends who you've got on the park. You would have your 4 attacking players up there straight away, your 2 strikers and 2 attacking midfielders, mate, and then obviously the 2 boys in midfield sitting. I think he'll stick with the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1. He looks to be going down kind of Bath roads, mate, depending on what Aribo's doing with himself, because it seems to be on him.
How you lining up tomorrow night, Stardog? What's your team tomorrow night? Brilliant interview.
I never, mate, unfortunately. I just got in the door 10 minutes ago.
Jimmy, it was the best we've had for a long time, wasn't it?
Who's that?
The interview was so insightful, wasn't it?
Oh, it was very informative.
Aye.
Very, very informative.
Stardog, you're going to listen to him, mate. It's unbelievable.
Right, okay. So you want my prediction for the team for tomorrow?
Aye.
Right, okay. I think he'll go McGregor, Tav, Golson, Edmondson, Barisic. I think he'll go Kamara, Jack, Aribo, Kent, Hadji and Morelos.
Same team as apart from the centre half changing this Saturday.
Obviously because he's not ready.
Kamara's suspended, Stardog.
Right, okay. It'll be Arfield and Jack then for me.
All right.
I think Arfield will play in there because I don't think Stephen Davis is fit yet, Oxshare, is he?
No. He said he was no far away, but we'll see, mate. We'll see. Aye, good shout. Aye, that's reasonable, mate. I get it.
Just because I know obviously the boys aren't registered yet.
JFK, Stardog, your team?
McGregor, Patterson, Edmondson, Hollander, Barisic, Aribo, Docherty and Jack, Jones, Alfredo and Kent.
I see what he's done there. You see his resting players, Jimmy, then basically.
Yeah, I was thinking. Aye.
Yeah, it would make sense, mate. It would make sense, and I wouldn't have any qualms with it if that was the case. I really wouldn't, because obviously everybody knows the league's the main concern this year. We just kind of need this game out the road. But whatever will be, mate. We'll just need to see, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
What happens tomorrow?
I mean, Oxshare said earlier on about putting up the white flag, and I can agree with him to a point in that. But what you said there is right. I'm looking to rest players, and I agree with what Fox said earlier. But and I always play your full strength team at all times. But I think in this case, I'm not saying it's a lost cause. Big Stevie said earlier on, if we score that first goal in the early doors, then we'll all be jumping up and down. But I'm thinking the bigger picture, Stardog. I'm just thinking there's a league to be won here, and if I had a chance, I would just give up the Europa League. I'm going to get shouted good for that, but I just want the team to win.
I don't think you're alone. I think there's people who would actually give up next year's tournament as well, or this year's tournament as well.
I'd agree with that.
Alone in that thought.
Aye. I'm just looking for the longevity of the team for this season. Sorry for jumping in, Stardog. I'm just looking for the longevity of the Premiership, Stardog. That's what I'm wanting, mate. And I'd forfeit the European one now. I want to win the league, and that's plain and simple. So that's my idea of that team. No, for any other reason, I throw in the towel in there. I think we could have got a chance to rest players.
Stardog.
Yeah, I think, mate, what Jimmy's saying is 100%. I know we would love to go through in that, but in the same sense, we've got to kind of keep it as realistic as possible. We're in with a right shout of winning this league this year. Are we going to go out to Bayer Leverkusen, whether we've got a strongest 11 or no, and win 2-0? You never know, mate. Like I say, what will be, will be. But
2-0 would be a nightmare, mate.
Aye, but for me, Oxshare, it's just all about the league this season. I want everybody fresh. I wouldn't even care. I know this might be a bit bold, but I wouldn't care if we get knocked out Europe in the first round and get put out the 2 cups, and we'll just playing one game every week and focused 100% on that league. Like, that's how much that means to me this year. I really, really want us to bring that league title home this year, and that's what I hope we do, mate. So 100% back up what Jimmy's saying. It's about keeping it realistic at the same time, innit?
Aye.
They'd be interesting shows if we get knocked out the cup with Raith Rovers, knocked out the other cup with Partick Thistle.
But it would mean nothing if we won the league, mate.
Well, the shows would be interesting, day nights.
Aye, definitely. Aye. But it's all about competing.
Left us.
I think it has, mate.
Okay.
Oh, the top, Bruno.
Oh, no, he's there. Good man. Night shift tonight.
Night shift, aye.
Every time you go quiet, I light a candle for you.
Don't say that.
I hope it was a good proddy one.
Oh, Bridgman, of course. Bridgman, the boys are saying, and I get their rationale, but through history dictates that we don't play friendlies, we don't play. Oh, he has left us. Must have been something I said.
His tea must be ready.
What a man. Oh, Fox. Their history dictates is that we've got to get it, we've got to try and win the tie, whether we're behind or not.
Like you said, mate, there's £500,000 at stake. And I want to see if we're as good as in Europe as we were towards before COVID, mate, where we went abroad and we made teams work and we came away with some terrific results. And I want to see us go out and win that game. I think it would do the morale in the team a lot of good to get into the next round. And it's only what is it? It's like a wee knockout competition going on for.
We play into Milan, I think. We play into Milan.
Well, I'd be happy with that, and I think hopefully the support would. We've got players in now. We're not going to run on a meagre squad. So let's go for it, mate. And I think he'll put out a right attacking side. I think his team will be McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Edmondson and Barisic. I think it'll be Steve Davis, Jack and Aribo, and Hadji, Morelos and Kent up front. And I think we'll go and try and score goals there. And I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Just remind people what time it starts tomorrow night, Fox?
It starts at 5 minutes to 6, in case you don't know the time. So have a good time and get the beers in early, and let's all roll on the Bears to success.
There'll be no post-match, no pre-match show tomorrow night, but there will be obviously a post-match show quite quickly after the final whistle. You never know, it could go to extra time, so we'll not put a time out there.
That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? That'd be brilliant if we got to extra time. I'll tell you, it'd be fantastic. Wow, fantastic.
Going back to the boys, Stardog and Jimmy, wouldn't it be brilliant?
Well, I'm thinking we could kind of kill two birds with one stone here. We could win 1-0 and no go through. And that still boosts the morale because you've still beat them.
And you've got £500,000.
What about that? What if we win 1-0? What if we do a Bridgman tomorrow? Would everybody be happy with that? Still going out but beating them and getting £500,000?
If we score in the first 15 minutes.
Don't do it to me, Oxshire.
No, of course, Oxshire, you're right, mate. And you're the same. You said it at the start of the show, I mean, you can't get yourself up for it. I'm not saying I can't get myself up for it. Obviously, I'm going to sit and shout at the telly, shout for my team.
If we get that first goal.
I know that. I know what you're saying, but I heard folks here. I heard folks here saying about it's a mini tournament, and it is that. But again, I'm going to get shouted doing me certain people now. Do we really need that distraction going for the league? Do we need to be playing in another tournament when we're going for the league, and it hinders what we're for? Look, I'm not saying we're not going to win the Europa League, right? And I know the money is good that we've earned so far, but I'm still thinking, win the championship this season first and foremost. I don't want distractions. I having to go to Lisbon or whatever it is, or Poland, wherever they're going to be playing these mini tournaments. But Rangers don't need that. Oxshire, for me anyway. I don't think that's as a distraction.
All right, mate. Talking about distractions from the past, we've been joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Oh. Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Jimmy. Evening, Bridge. Evening, Stardog.
There's the dulcet tones, eh?
Hey, how you doing, Blue?
Not bad. Did I catch you right? Did most of you seem to think that you think Alfie will stay?
No, I think it comes.
No, I think that'll be hope he stays.
Hope he stays, and people say he wants him to go quick. It's a mixed bag, mate.
I just, for the life of me, I've got to be honest, guys. I don't think Gerrard's happy with him at all. I really don't. And I think even in the games up until now, even against Aberdeen, and I know he was playing in that kind of midfield role and getting forward when he could. I have not been impressed with him at all. And I'm not even talking about him not scoring goals. I genuinely think he looks vastly overweight. I really do. I think the best thing for them all, and I think I don't think there's any jabite about it. I think they've already had an offer and they're holding out for that, whether it's a 20 or whether it's 18, whatever Gerard's put a price on his head. They're obviously wanting as much as they can get, but I think the quicker he's away, the better for us. I honestly do. I really do.
If there's a hat-trick tomorrow, it'll be 70 blue.
Absolutely, and I agree with what your last point was there, Jimmy. You're bang on. That's a distraction for us now. All we're interested in is this league. But try telling Stevie G that whenever the likes of the League Cup and that starts, he'll want a cup.
Right.
Whether we're going for the trophy or no, he'll definitely want a cup, and rightly so. But that's what a big squad's for. But oh no, all distractions aside, the only thing that matters this season's that league.
I get it, mate. I think a lot of the support were the same. But Fox, Morelos, last 2 games, Coventry and Aberdeen, he's arguably been my best player over the 2 games.
It was between him and Joe Aribo over the couple of games. I think he's added a new dimension to his game. You can see where he was formerly a midfield player, with his sense of picking up the ball and spreading it about. And as I said, he never hung about. For people saying he's no interested or anything like that, he was right into the box as soon as he distributed the ball, mate. He was right. He was going forward. I thought he worked hard and worked well for the team. The only reason I'm hoping he stays there, if we're serious about winning 55 next year, we could do with Alfie more than no do with him.
100%, folks. I agree with you, but honestly, for the life of me, I genuinely think he's away. I really do. I think he's away. If we kept him, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be unhappy. Of course I wouldn't, because the wee guy's always going to get you goals. There's no debate about that. And we're going to need this bigger squad. The bottom line is, I heard his last name when you said that 3 or 4 or 3 out of 5 would be leaving. There'll be leavers, of course there will be. But see, during this season, the likes of the new, we all agree on one thing in midfield. Aribo's added a new dimension to us in the middle of the park. But you take him out the side, whether it's through injury or whatever, suspension. Who else do you actually see in the middle of the park that you see dictating game? For me, I think the wee guy Hatchie's definitely got ability. But like you say, Oxford, he needs to put on weight. He's far, far, far too lightweight. Out with those two, who do we actually see controlling that midfield? We don't. We genuinely don't. And I agree with Jimmy on his point about his formations. Unless it's against a team that, let's be honest, we know we're going to beat, maybe possibly at Ibrox, he's not going to vary much for that 3 in the middle of the park. Quite frankly, against Celtic in that, games take care of themselves, but he'll never ever go less than 3 in the middle of the park, even putting 5, even if we wanted 5 up front, he'll not do that. He'll just not do it. But for me, Aribo, I think has been, for me, I think Aribo's added a milestone to as regards to the team. His work rate's incredible. He has got a shift of space, although sometimes you look at him and you think he can be gangly, but he can shift.
He's got a big long stride, mate. Once he opens up his legs and shows us his class, he's excellent.
Oh, definitely.
Can I come in and ask you?
Yes, mate.
I was just going to say, I agree wholeheartedly with the conversation so far, and it's some good points are getting raised. I do agree that I've been saying this for the last couple of nights. I do agree that Mr. Morelos is slightly overweight. I don't know how much, but slightly overweight.
Definitely, Bridgeman.
So he could, if he could lose that wee bit and get himself back up to a bit of pace, because to me that's obviously slowing him down, and he's maybe half a yard short on his in his game. And when you're a half a yard short, anybody that's played football, half a yard's a mile, you know. So when you're playing against people at the top of their game and you're half a yard out, you're a long way away. And that's what he looks like sometimes. His shots are not quite on target. You know, you can see what he wants to do. You can see him trying it, gets us in the great positions. Brilliant midfield play. Lincoln picking the ball up, linking it. And as you said, gets turned immediately and runs towards the box, hoping for the ball in. And when it comes to him, he doesn't seem to know what to do with it because that'll be half a yard short. That's the way I look at it. I think he's a fabulous player. I'd love to keep him. If the Rangers could afford it, I'd love it. I'd love to keep him for another season. I just absolutely love it. See us through to the end of the season. Get the league win this season. Use Alfredo Morelos as much as possible and get him back scoring goals because we need him to score the goals. We need him with a big smile on his face every game scoring goals.
Startup.
I see it 100% differently, mate. I sometimes I don't know. I mean, the Rangers fans should be used to Alfredo Morelos, mate. He always carries a wee bit away, and I don't think that makes him uninterested in the game or what's going on about him. If you look at, I mean, he could have had a couple of goals easily before now. I think it was in the Nice game. I think it was either Jamie Murphy or somebody else should have squared it to him, and he was absolutely fuming with him. They never squared it to him, and he had a tap in. Joe Rebo and all at Aberdeen, he could have squared it to Alfredo Morelos, and he would have had a tap in. You know, he could have had a couple of goals after the assist to Kent. A player that's not interested, mate, wouldn't have ran up to Kent with a big smile on his face to congratulate him. It was the first day to congratulate Kent and celebrate the goal with him. For me, mate, everybody's lacking that still wee bit of match sharpness, and Alfredo always shows just that wee bit extra. But he's called the Buffalo. He's always been big built. He always looks a bit bigger than the average person. That's what his strength is for me. So for me, I see it a wee bit different, mate. Maybe it is half a yard off it, but the weight issue is not a problem for me, mate. I think he's been fantastic for us the past couple of games. And in the Coventry game, first half he was the best player in the park. The first half against Aberdeen, he was the best midfielder in the park, and he's not even a midfielder. So
I don't know.
That tells you all you need to know, mate.
He was playing the midfield star, Doug. He was playing the false nine. Yeah.
No, I know that. I'm just saying his link-up play, mate, and what he was doing in the midfield, and some of the passes he was spraying was absolutely brilliant. So it doesn't look to me as if he's never out the game last year. To me, if you're not interested, like say Shea Ojo was last year, he was never in the game, was he? Alfredo's never really out the game for me, so he's always involved, and that's all you can ask for, mate.
Well, Star, I mean, I accept your point. Look, the players want to go. I'm always happy for them to go. I never think it's a good mix. I just think that the price is going to be right, modern football. And if we get an offer that the board thinks a right offer, we shake hands and we move on, because players will always come and go, mate.
Oh, absolutely, Ox. No question about that. I just think with the murmurings and what you're hearing, I think he's let it be known easy. No, I don't think there's any dubiety about it. He definitely wants to go. Are we a better team with him in it? Of course we are. We all know that. When the wee guy's on song, there's nobody better. I just genuinely think if he's made his mind up that he wants to go, a bit like what Jimmy said earlier on, if he's made his mind up and he wants to go, and I think he has, and I think Gerrard knows that, there's one for you. If and when he does go, do you think Gerrard will bring in another forward?
No, I don't.
Why?
He might bring in other players. I don't necessarily think his next signing would be a forward if Morelos goes, personally. JFK?
No, I don't think he will. I've always said that Jermaine Defoe has always been a number 3 striker for me, but I think he's still in the market for a midfielder and a right back, just to give Tavernier a G up. But we still need that ball winner in the middle. We've got Roof there now and Itten, so I think he'll make
Big Ricky.
Big Ricky, I wanted to call him now. Well, I think he'll make day with them, and the money that he does get for Alfredo if Alfredo goes, which I hope he doesn't. I think the way Alfredo played against Coventry and then he played against the Sheep, I thought was a great way he played, and it was very near my man of the match until Ryan Kent scored in. But I thought Big Balogun and that stole the show. But for me, I'm excited about Alfredo probably staying, but I still stick with I wish it's either aye or no. You know, committing to all the fans. No, we're not going to hate him if he goes. You know, if he goes, we goes with our best wishes. He's been good for the club. I know he's a lot of things, silly things have happened. Some of it never his fault. But I'd love him to stay, same as everybody else, Oxshare, and especially with the two guys that were brought in. I think we could be a revelation this season, mate. Definitely.
I still think we're a wee bit short. I think we could do with a warrior in midfield, mate. I think Gerard used that term, so we're all looking for that. I think we could do with that. Bridgman, then Fox. Fox.
Well, we haven't used the loan market yet this season, and I think we'll probably go down that line if we can't get a cheap enough centre midfielder that we fancy. I think it might be another loan to buy. I think we've spent quite a lot of money so far, and I don't see us spending money this season at this time on a central midfielder.
Right,
can I just say in Alfie's weight? I can remember Maradona being a wee bit overweight. I didn't hear anybody complaining about him.
Brazilian Ronaldo and all, Fox, he was always the same. The Ronaldo for Brazil. He was always carrying weight after the summer. Never affected his game.
And by the way, it doesn't affect his effort in the game. You don't see him blowing out his backside after 70 minutes or anything like that, you know.
He's solid.
I think that's a myth that he's that overweight. At least I was that overweight.
I'd agree with that, Fox.
Aye, it's a bind when you get that wee bit heavier.
Gaza as well, let's be honest. Gaza was like that, wasn't he?
Aye, Gaza was barrel-chested, wasn't he? He was big built, big bone.
Aye.
McCoist at times, Oxshare?
No, mate.
No, not until late on in his career.
Up to he was 35, McCoist.
Aye.
With 8 stone wet, mate.
Ox, can I just say, see the big fella at the back? I must be honest, I thought he'd an absolute stormer. I really did. I like to look at that guy. And the way that he went forward with the ball, we've seen Goldson doing it against Coventry, but to me, I still think he's a bit of a bomb scare. But I even thought Goldson next to that guy on Sunday even looked a lot better. I really did. It was as if the big guy gave him a bit of confidence, but I thought the big guy really looked a classy player. I know it was only one game, and he certainly wasn't up against many forwards, granted, but I thought he genuinely looked the part.
That's a good point you made there. Did anybody see the mapping of the touches? The Aberdeen centre forward touched it 6 times in the whole game.
Right. The whole game, aye.
But Ellis touched it 83 times.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Frightening, really. I enjoyed Big Balogun's debut, mate. I thought the 2 highlights for me was the one when he brought it down to the defence and he got the free kick. I thought he bought the free kick, but he got the free kick. And then the second half, I think it was a young boy who I just talked about. I can't mind his name. The ball was played up to him and the big man showed a turn of pace. I think he went and took it off him and put it for a throw-in, and that went, he's got a bit of pace, which we've maybe never seen apart from Edmondson. So a lot of positives there for me, Blue Star.
Yeah, definitely. I genuinely thought he not just a good player. I actually thought on the ball he looked a real class big guy, and for being a reasonably tall guy, he was very, very comfortable when he was on the ball, you know. And I noticed a few times out on 4 touchline, there was a couple of times you didn't even think about it. If you thought the guy was maybe had a bit of pace on, him it came for flipping name. When he was trying to run up the wing, there was a couple of times you didn't even think about it. He just put it in a touch, and I like that. If you got any messing about, get out of touch. I know Bridgman used to always say that, kick out the gun. He done that quite. He done that. He done that a few times in the second half. I genuinely thought he really looked the part. But as I say, you would have to see him up against obviously 2, 3 forwards, whatever. But he certainly looked the part for a debut anyway, and it was his first game. He certainly shone for me.
Stardog, I think everybody enjoyed his performance, and obviously you need to give people about a dozen games to judge it. But first,
100%. Oh, you can see it straight away. He's got experience, mate, with the barrel load, so he has. But my highlight of the game was when he came out for the back and turned into a left winger and got us a good free kick.
That's right, when I up the park with it. Aye.
Aye, I know Tavernier wasted the free kick, but I thought the Biggin done well to get his set up there and wins the free kick. And that's, I mentioned it last night on the show, Oxshare, that's going to give us a different dimension, you know. Maybe if it's not happening in the midfielder, like Albert says last night, if Jack and Kamara's playing too many kind of wall passes, it does not look as if he's going to hold back and stepping out and making things happen himself. So I like that, mate. Big Nico did that a few times and all. Big Nico was in the fear. But this guy's got a bit more about him. But I'd love to see they two at the back, and I'll be waiting for a while. I can't believe we've not even covered him and congratulated him and getting a wee job to keep himself busy while he's injured. I think that's superb. We'll be able to hear Big Nico on the telly now and all.
What's he doing the trolleys in Asda?
No, he's doing the commentating, isn't he, and all.
We have TV.
Aye.
All right, I thought you were maybe going to tell me he's got a slot and Go Radio there.
No.
So, you see what I done there,
Like
JFK?
Did, mate, I did.
Aye.
No one of the negatives, and I know I try to be positive, one of the negatives I have noticed in the last couple of games, it's one thing hanging on to the ball and keeping it half the opposition, but for me, they're still going through periods in the game where they're mincing about with it far too much, passing it along the back line. I'd like to see it getting forward far more. And again, obviously, that's going to take time and it's going to take games when they all get to know one another. I accept that. But there was a few periods in the Aberdeen game where but the ball wasn't even coming out of their own half. They were content just passing it about in their own half.
The second half was a bore fest, wasn't it?
Oh, it was terrible. And that's all very well. And I mean, but the bottom line is the one team that's done it to us the last two seasons only because we were 2-0 up and then they equalised. But that's all right when you're a couple of goals in front. When you're only that one goal in the game, anything can happen.
Well, it nearly did, mate. It nearly did.
Exactly. So, you know, we've got to make sure we're getting games won before they start that peeing about with it, you know.
I just like us to get to the stage, and I'll go to JFK with this, but we play at that right tempo for 90 minutes, mate. I think we blow teams away.
Absolutely.
Of course. I mean, you've said it many a time, I've all agreed with you. If we go out there and play the football we know we can play, especially against a team that wants to come out and play football against us as well, we are a very, very good team, and we will perform and score a lot of goals, and we've proved it in the past. But again, we'll have the negative teams that come to Ibrox Oxshire and I'll just want to put a bank of 5 or 6 across a penalty box just to be spoilt, and they'll let our wingers bang balls in there all day and they'll just mop it up. And everybody that watches Rangers and goes, you know, it's watching it in the house is bad enough, but sitting at Ibrox and everybody round about you are all moaning and groaning because it's rubbish football to watch, and it's no Rangers' fault. We all know that. And it's terrible to watch. But as a team going forward, mate, and we're up against a team that wants to play football, we're up there with the best. No doubt about it, mate. No doubt about it.
Just going to change the subject slightly. And obviously good to have Blue Starways, because he's a lot older than me and you, JFK, as you know. Right. Comebacks. I was trying to think. I don't think we have come back for anything like this before, ever. Because we're going away from home. We've had the odd one we've turned it round when we've had a bad result away, but no other way around. What's your memories of great Rangers comebacks? Fox.
I think a couple, mate.
Yes,
can remember in the late end, towards the end of the 70s, mate, playing the Tims at Parkhead. We were 2-0 down at half time. I think it was big Shuggy, what was his name? A big centre half scored 2 goals, and then we came back and scored 3. Ed Valson, that's who it was, Jimmy. And I think it was Gordon Smith got 2. Right. Who else scored in that game? I think it was Big Johnson, if I remember right. That's one game I remember. Did we not have a European tie against the Irish side, Shelbourne, down at Tranmere?
1-5-3, aye.
Yes, that's one I can think of. And when we were talking about the Sheep earlier on, I think there was a game we were 2-0 down to them at Pittodrie, around about 2009, 2010 season. and we came back and beat them 3-2. So that's the ones that stick out in my mind.
All right, okay. I'm going to go for. I think we were there. JFK was in the best of nights. 1976 semi-final. Motherwell, Hampden 2-0 down, 20 minutes to go.
Aye.
Our goalkeeper gets 2 assists. Derek Johnson scores 2, does he? And we go on and win the treble. But these are individual matches, no two-legged affair. And obviously the Braga one this season, Stardog. You never seen that coming when they scored their second goal, did you?
I remember sitting. I remember. I didn't turn my telly off, never. But I was sitting there watching it with the wee man, and when the second goal went in, I thought, oh my god! And then if you remember them up the park, and they had a one-on-one with the keeper, and they missed it, but you know it could have been 3, and we could have been dead and buried. I don't think I've seen a comeback like that, mate, ever in my life. When you were talking about comebacks there, the only one I could think of, and it's not even really a comeback, really. It was when I went to an Old Firm game at Ibrox. It was my third Old Firm game. I'd went to 3. It was my third. And we lost the first one, drew the second one, so I was itching to get a win out of them at Ibrox. And we were doing 1-0 at half time, and it was when Naismith scored. And we won 4-2 that game. I think Jelavic scored a couple, or Naismith got a couple, and Jelavic and Lafferty scored. We were getting beaten that game, and we come back and won that 4-2. So that's like a comeback thing I was at. I remember that. But the Braga one tops it all. Or the St Mirren final last year, I know we weren't done, but you know that was really backs against the wall with 9 men and things like that. And for Kenny Miller to score that header when he did, so that was a team that showed great fighting spirit.
Ox, was there no one in the early 80s?
A Walter Smith team.
Was there no a European game in the early 80s where was it no 2-0 down to PSV and we came back and beat them 3-2?
No, we were never. We scored first that night. No, wait a minute. They scored first. They scored. No, we were not put 2-0 down. It was 1 each.
They scored first and we scored 3, didn't we?
No, it went 2 each.
Is that not what it was?
No, that was
1978.
1978, that was.
Was that the Bobby Russell one?
That's correct, mate.
Aye, right. I'm getting mixed up, yeah.
You've got a caller, Ox.
All right, I'll take the call. Thank you. Evening, caller.
Evening, boys. How's it going? It's Ibrox John.
All right, Ibrox. How you doing, mate?
No bad. Talking about comebacks. I mean, it wasn't a comeback of sorts, but we came back for a man down, and I was at the game. And it's my personal favourite, and it was the Scottish Cup semi-final 1992 at Hampden. David Robertson gets sent off after 6 minutes. Now that's a comeback. McCoy on half time.
Oh, the rain that night.
Remember the rain? My God, absolutely soaking I was. First trip to Hampden. 16-year-old.
I think you're lying about your age, mate. Right, if he was 16, JFK, you were 15 and I was 14.
What is that around one of my ankles like? Dear me.
Did we all forget about the Braga game?
That was unbelievable. Stardog said that. He was just saying there that he didn't see it happening. Did you, Stardog?
No, never in a million years I've seen that happening last year. You know, that was a really, really good team. I think they were in a crazy winning streak and all when they came to Ibrox, weren't they? They were something like 11 or 12 or 13. Aye, it really, really did. But obviously the Hadji taking his chance to get us back in the game, but that's Joe Aribo goal, mate. I'll never ever forget that goal. I really will. I think that's the best goal I've ever watched Rangers score in Europe in my time, anyway. For what it meant to get us back into 2 each and things like that, I thought that was superb for Big Joe.
Ibrox?
Aye, that was a cracker. I couldn't believe it. He just danced through the defence and slotted it home. It was just an amazing moment, and he just loved it, and the crowd loved it, and we all loved it wherever we were watching the game. And then the free kick that night. I mean, who could have thought that it would just deflect in that way? An incredible night. It was absolutely brilliant.
That was a special night, and the funny thing was, because of that night, when we went 2-1 down against Leverkusen GFK, people were saying that we'll still go and win the game, wouldn't they?
Aye, of course, aye. I mean, miracles can happen. We all know that. I mean, I gave you the one the one that was a memory for me was PSV Eindhoven, and for me that was a fantastic night, 1978. That was brilliant. A 3.5-4 day bus trip there and back to Holland. Same pair of pants and socks on. It's absolutely magic. But that one sticks out for me because PSV were a fantastic team at that time. Well, most of the Dutch teams were in the 70s anyway, as we all know. But for me, that was the one that always sticks out. Because we all came out Ibrox that night and we were given a lesson in how to defend. You know, PSV were brilliant that night, not in each. And we went there and thinking, we'll go and party in different places, you know, that you can go and party in Holland, you know.
We Russell last night, that night, Jimmy, was magical, wasn't he?
Aye, but 2 each were this is Wonderland. But then when me Russell put the third one in Blue Star, it was ecstatic.
Aye.
By the way, Derek Johnson puts his head in a Kenny Watson shot that night. That if he'd any brains, Derek would have ducked. Have a look at that on YouTube, Stardog. You don't believe it. He puts his head on it. Puts
I'll
it
that looked up, mate, directly.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. I'm really trying to look for comebacks in an individual game. I suppose one of our most famous comebacks, Fox, would have been against Leeds at Ibrox when McAllister scored and they obviously turned to a 2-1 victory.
A game we weren't expected, a tie we weren't expected to do well in, and we ended up trouncing them, didn't we?
Beat them home and away.
Aye. And I don't think MD will forget that diving header or for McCoyster, big Hatley's rocket shot in the first couple of minutes, mate, that sent us on our way. That was a terrific night for Rangers supporters.
Can I come in there, Ox?
Aye, but carry on, mate.
How about the 2002 Scottish Cup final, Lovencrantz?
Aye, 2-1 down with about 20 minutes to go. For me personally, Barry Ferguson won his finest games for Rangers, took the game by the scruff of the neck, was dictating the whole game, showed Lennon up for what the player he was, scored a fabulous free kick, and then McCann, who did an excellent game, put it on Lovencrantz, and I can't remember much after that.
Me either, but I think we all know where we were at the time and what a day that was. It felt like we'd been through a lot to that point, a lot of anguish, and then felt as if things were starting to turn in our tide. And
I know that I was about 6 feet for the cup when they got it.
But no, that was a great afternoon. Had a good time.
What a night! What a night! Aye, some great memories, JFK Blue Star, but this is a wee bit different. I mean, German teams at the best of time of difficulty are always efficient.
Yeah.
Let's got to be honest, guys. We all know. See, when that mob's on their game, they are a right good team. I mean, even against us, you've got to be honest. Their football that night, it's not as if we played bad. They played really well. You could see they're all athletes, and I'd be over the moon tomorrow night. See if we can, as like we said at the start, see if we can beat them 1-0. See if we get a result. As long as we don't get a defeat, I think we've done well. Especially, I'm inclined to agree with Jimmy. I think Stevie G, I don't see him putting it what he classifies as his best 11. I just can't see him doing that.
Okay.
Did you hear my team Blue Star? What I think?
I did. Aye.
I mean, I'm thinking again, no damage limitation. But I'm thinking of going out and resting players. That's just my rationale on that. But as you said, Oxia, German teams are always very, very skillful and strong. But when Fox says earlier on about the players that were out, I went and I looked, and my God, they've got maybe five players missing tomorrow. So that kind of gives me a wee bit of hope. that we can go there and put a performance in and maybe get something. Because, like you said to me earlier on, what happens if you score in the first 5 minutes? What happens if we score and just before half time or something, and it's 2-0? Jeez, oh man, my ears will be making buttons. So it'll be what it is tomorrow. Whatever team the gaffer puts up, it'll be this team that he thinks. I've got a feeling he'll put out his strongest team anyway. That was just my thinking what I would do. Up against a good German team.
You need to remember, Bayer Leverkusen's the only team we have beaten Germany, I think. When we beat them during Dick Advocaat's time, goals for Giovanni van Bronckhorst and I think, who was the other one? I try to think of the other one. Who scored the winner? Was it Jonathan Johansson?
It was a sad night earlier, wasn't it? That was Moses' injury that night, wasn't it, Fox?
No, that was in Munich.
No.
Was it?
That was the following season, mate.
But I think it's a free hit, isn't it? I mean, it is
that's exactly what it is.
The manager's going to look at it that way. He's going to put it in attacking lineup. It's a free hit. It's almost still a pre-season game. So why not? And if we get an early goal, then we're hoping. If we get a couple of goals before half time, then it's all on. It's all on. And as Rangers fans, we expect.
If we're 2-0 up at half time, I'm going to phone GFK at half time.
You will, I know. Aye.
It wasn't John. It was Thingmate that scored the goal. Rod Wallace. Scored the second goal.
He was a good player for us, Rod Wallace, wasn't he?
So it can be done. It can be done. And I think we've had a good run in Europe this year, and it wouldn't surprise me if we could get our second victory in Germany.
Who was the Frenchman that was playing with them there? He played in the World Cup team, and he played with Bayer Leverkusen. Put a long name. Dachowski or something. He was a brilliant player.
Djokaev,
yeah.
Aye, he played. I think he played with that team back then. Aye, he was a good player. But that was a good result. Aye, Rod Wallace, good player for us. Good player. That was a good Rangers team. We didn't realise at the time, but they were an exceptional team and played some lovely football. But tomorrow night, we'll not have a pre-match show, just letting everybody know, because it's a wee bit early, and then we'll have a post-match show just after the final whistle from our usual time. If everything goes to plan, it'll be the full 2 hours. If there's any extra time, of course. GFK, extra time.
I'd love it. I would absolutely love it, I'll tell you that.
You're back. Where have you been?
I've been sitting here listening to you.
Right, man.
I've been sitting here listening to you.
For you. It's listening to 2 Rorys here.
2 Rorys. I want my team to go out there from number 1 minute to the 90th minute or extra time and just give it everything they've got and see if they can win that game by enough to go through. Because see if we went through there, there'd be a big change in the Scottish people's attitude towards us. Believe you me, they won't know what to do. I'll tell you that. They won't know what to do.
Go and mollocate them.
Absolutely. Well, like, they're a good team. Now, let's not make any bones about that. They're a good team. But we didn't show our best when we played them at Ibrox. Let's go out there and see if we can show our best this time, which may be better than we had the last time. So let's see what happens.
You mentioned that we didn't play badly at Ibrox. See when it went 2-1. We had them really under the cosh.
Of course we did.
We made about half a dozen chances, mate, to get the equaliser.
Yeah.
I heard a bit in Snide today, Ox, and they had that Derek Ray, the commentator, on, and he's out there commentating in German football. And he's under the impression that if Rangers played to their capabilities, that they can damage them for the simple reason. He says they're a team that they win their own song. He says, but he says they can go 4 and 5 games. Did you hear it, Jimmy? They can go 4 and 5 games in the trot. He says where they can look very, very ordinary. He says, and what they have got compared to a lot of the German teams, he did admit, he says they've got a terrific squad. He says, as in numbers, he says with great players. he was making out that they're paying big wages, because obviously a lot of these players would be wanting to play football and they're not getting games. But he did say they do have a habit. They have lapses where they can go 4, 5, 6 games where you wouldn't even recognise it was the same team. They've not been playing football, so you never know. As I say, I'd be more than happy if we don't go through, but I'd be more than happy. See if we can get a winner there. I'd bear them in with that.
Stardock.
Sorry, mate, I was trying to get off mute there. Whoever's just said that's gave me a wee bit of battle fever, by the way. Whoever just said that they can play ordinary 4 or 5 games in a row. You need to stop. I'm getting excited for this because I know what we're like in Europe. I've seen it all season. I've seen it for the past 2 seasons.
You need to stop.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this. That's me. I'm hyped up for the game now. Come on, the Rangers.
Come on, the Rangers. Get right into them.
Free hit.
They've not played in a month, have they? When was the last time they kicked the ball?
6 weeks.
Aye. It's a free hit.
Let's hope they have an ordinary
John's
night.
right. It's a free hit.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm trying both sides of the coin. It is a free hit, you know, but I'm hoping tomorrow that I get a phone call at half time and you start giving me the clown's laughter in the phone.
JFK, if it's 2-0 at half time, I'll know about the phone. You'll be too nervous.
Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so.
Aye. Good to hear from you, Ibrox. How do you think things are, Ibrox John? How do you think things are going? Are you happy with the signings?
Oh, delighted, Ox. I was stunned when I seen them. I mean, obviously we've seen the rumours coming through about different players, but to get 2 strikers in one day of significant ability and experience, it's absolutely superb. If we keep Morelos and those 2 guys, then we're going to win the title. I mean, I think that's what we need. That's the kind of firepower we need to win the league. And if we've got the midfielders coming up and scoring goals, which they've shown us in pre-season, then we get the potential to score a lot of goals. And that's what we need. Defence has been looking fantastic, obviously, pre-season, because we haven't conceded a goal, or against Sheep FC. Or Coronavirus FC, as they're now known. But I'm confident now. I'm really confident. I think this is our season, and I'm now a season ticket holder at Ibrox, and I'm pretty chuffed about that.
Well done,
pal. Gentlemen.
Well done.
Well,
I live in England, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering.
We've reached that time of the evening. Bridgeman.
Oh, what can I say? Really true. I'm so pleased I'm able to do the finishing of the show, because I've been able to do it for days and days and days. Seriously. But can I just say, tomorrow night, really and truly, just go out and do what we can do. Every single one is. All the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, please, 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 keep it going for the Rangers, because tomorrow night, the Rangers really need us. So do they. They need us. Keep it going.
Can I thank everybody that called in? Great to hear from Blue Star, Ibrox John, Ross who phoned in earlier, Soz. Who else did I miss? I don't know. Everybody phoned in tonight. Great. Thanks to Starbuck, Bridgeman, JFK, and of course Fox, and of course Old School Blue. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back after the final whistle tomorrow night, talking about tomorrow night's game. Take it away, Old School Blue.
How many years ago, my boys, I left the Glasgow town. I followed the pull of the Yankee land and here have settled down. Although I missed the Bridgeton Cross and my friends so near and dear, what I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. You can talk of California where the sun shines all the year. You can bomb about your Broadway lights so clear. But if there was still my heart with sadness
it would fill my heart with cheer if we only had the Rangers over here. For they're the finest team in all the land, and I'm sure that you'll agree. To see them win is something grand, it's part of history. We're the boys who fear none eyes, my lads, and I mean that's quite sincere. What I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. Higginbach of California, where the sun shines all the year. Higginbottom, about your Broadway life so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer. And we only had the Rangers over here. Finest team in all the land, and I'm sure that you'll agree. To see them win is something grand, it's part of history. We're the boys who fear no noise, my lads, and I mean this quite sincere. What I would give if I could have the Rangers over here. Higginbach of California, where the sun shines all the year. Higginbottom, about your Broadway life so clear. But it would fill my heart with gladness, it would fill my heart with cheer. And we only had the Rangers over here. And we only had the Rangers over here. And we only had the Rangers